So, you ready?
Well, we can use that one.
Okay, I can work it out. If you bust out laughing, I'll just stop it and we'll redo it. But
okay, cool.
Okay,
cool,
all right.
Cool.
So we're gonna start in. I'm gonna count down from 5. So today I'm here with a businessman, a dear friend of mine, and a watch collector, Mr. Sherman Edwards, who's been collecting watches for the last 2 years and amassed a very impressive collection of pieces. Everything from the Speedmaster Professional all the way to the Cartier Santos and some other pieces that you may not have considered. Today on The Watch Factor. So Sherman, thank you for being on the show. If you can, tell the audience a little bit about a background about yourself.
Sure. So I'm a managing director at a global insurance broker. Have been collecting watches the last 2 years, as Kurt said. In my early 30s, and hope to continue to collect and grow my collection as I get older.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's jump right in. So Sherman, it looks like you've amassed a very impressive collection of a number of different pieces from a number of different brands. Why don't you walk us through kind of the first watch that you've purchased from this group that's here today, and tell us a little bit about what drew your interest and what just kind of moved you to actually make the purchase on the watch.
Sure. So the first one I purchased, what I have here is the Omega Professional Speedmaster Man on the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
This one I got, I want to say right at about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Was looking for a really everyday sport watch, and with the history of the Omega Speedmaster, thought that'd be a great piece to add as the first one.
Wow. Where did you even learn about the Speedy from?
I would say YouTube videos and Googling online. Have had many conversations with yourself, and yeah, that's the story about that one.
Beautiful watch. Okay, and then where do we go from there?
So then we go to the Cartier Santos. It's probably my favorite piece.
Okay.
Actually, this is probably my favorite piece because of the movie Wall Street.
Okay.
Of course, with Mike Douglas, he had the gold Santos on in the early 90s.
Yep, remember that.
Saw that piece in a couple of series that I watched and knew I had to have that one. And obviously, the long history of Cartier for sure.
It's such a timeless piece. The Santos came out in the early 1900s, and even today, on the wrist with the same design profile, it still fits. It's such a classic piece that just kind of breaks time no matter what. So, such an awesome piece. All right, so that was our second. And where do we go from there?
So then we go to the JLC Reverso. This was probably my most coveted piece, the one I wanted the most. I don't know, it was a piece I wanted for a while. I wanted to be my first, but glad I amassed it, and obviously the long history of it with Polo and JLC just makes this a great watch. And so the medium second hand I thought would be a great piece to acquire. So I would say the JLC was definitely an achievement watch. It was something when I got a big deal, I decided to pull the trigger just so it would always be be attributed to
that.
I got a big sale, and so the JLC definitely.
Now, tell a little bit about the backstory, because this wasn't your first JLC reverso.
Correct.
Right?
So yeah, it was one of my many mistakes in watch collecting,
Okay.
and so I had actually bought a JLC that was actually a woman's watch that I didn't know,
Okay.
and I had to return it and take a nice little loss, but got the one I have now, and so definitely one of the few watch mistakes, but I'm sure I'll make more, and I guess that's just a part of being a watch collector.
Yeah, absolutely. We all do. We all do. No, this is gorgeous, and I love the geo shade that's on the dial. The heat-treated blued hands. It's just a clean watch. A lot of guys don't really gravitate towards the reverso as much as I think they should, just because it's a square case. But for business, for attire, and I even think technically it is a sports watch.
Absolutely,
it can work with a lot of different profiles. So awesome selection. So we've got a Speedmaster Professional, and we coming out the gates hard. We've got a Cartier Santos, which tells a little bit about the background for yourself. You go into a JLC. Where do we go from there?
So then we take a little bit of a step down, but a piece that I actually saw, I want to say 7 or 8 years ago when I lived out west. It's a Maurice Lacroix Grand Goucher, part of their masterpiece collection.
Oh, wow.
I actually saw it in a Breitling store, and it was, I would say, 6 times the price of what I acquired it for. And so I saw it, and it was a steal, and I'm like, that was a piece that, again, I saw so many years ago, and I had always liked Maurice Lacroix, and so decided to pull the trigger on that one.
Now, what's interesting is that, I mean, we've got Omega, we've got Cartier, we've got JLC, coveted brands, well known. This kind of shows that you're a true watch collector, and that you buy what works for you and draws you. To me, Maurice Lacroix is such an underrated brand. Craftsmanship, the finishing is superb on these watches, but in the U.S. they're just not marketed enough to maintain their actual list price. But what's also cool about this is that Maurice Lacroix is not something that you would normally think would kind of line right in there, but it spoke to you. You even kind of technically hunted for it, and now you have it in the collection, which is awesome. I love the piece. I love the fact that it's got an onion crown. The dial and the finishing on it is just superb with the different layers that are on here on the outside of the case. So awesome piece. Okay, so where do we go from Maurice Lacroix?
So then we go to the Grand Seiko GMT, which is actually a piece that you sort of put in my ear, and
I've been a troublemaker before.
Absolutely. And so we had talked about this one, and I saw it. I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to have that piece. And just Grand Seiko, the way they finish their pieces, and then the cream dial with the brown gator band, just stunning piece. And so I had to have that one, and
it's an amazing piece. So I have the it's technically a black dial version, but in the light it actually looks brown. And I did a video a few months back on the Grand Seiko and just talked about, to your point, the finishing, that Soratsu polishing that they do, and what the polisher goes through to actually make the dial kind of pop and the indices pop the way that they do. It's just a magnificent piece. This is actually still on my list. I'm one that likes to repeat. I get things multiple times, and this is one that I want to eventually pull into the collection. Just a beautiful piece all around. Okay, so we leave from the House of Grand Seiko, and we kind of circle back into an old chap that's known, loved, hated at the same time. Tell us a little bit about this piece here.
So this one, I kind of was torn on, the Panerai Luminor Douai. And so I actually got the Douai version of the Panerai Luminor just because of the Douai is the 42. And since I'm so skinny and have a smaller wrist, I thought a 44 would have just been too big. And so the 42, the Douai, allowed me to get Panerai with the blue face, love the interchangeable bands, and still get that regular classic Panerai look.
it's a great watch. I mean, it's like sandwich dial. The blue, although it's kind of matte,
Yes.
it just works.
Yes,
It just
yeah.
works. Like, it's not necessarily a sunburst, but it just works. It's one thing about Panerai is just how crisp and how clean their dials are. So I can totally get it. It's awesome that even someone with a smaller wrist, I won't say a
Absolutely.
skinny wrist, but someone with a smaller wrist can even find one at 42. I've got a 44 PAM 88, and I love them.
Yes.
The case design. One thing that I've noticed is, like, for me, because Panerai is really about simplicity. I don't tend to go down the path of, like, you buy one and you want to buy more.
Absolutely.
You find the one that
Absolutely.
works for you,
Yep.
and then that's it.
Yeah.
Classic crown guard, just a beautiful brush finishing on the side with the polished bezel. Such a great look. That's awesome. Okay, and then where we go from Panerai?
So then we go to probably my second favorite piece, the Breitling Navitimer B01.
Big boy.
Yes, definitely bigger for me, but I do love that piece. Again, was always on my watch list, the ones that I wanted, and so to me that's a grail piece for myself, just because of the history and how much I've wanted that piece for a while, because it is so recognizable. Always wanted
You can
that
see it.
timer.
And so, were you able just to go into an AD and find it? Did you have the hunt, Chrono 24?
I did go into an AB and get it,
Okay.
and got that one new. Didn't get it gray market. Probably was a mistake, but it's
But it's
all
what you
good.
wanted, right?
It's what I
What you
wanted,
wanted,
and
right?
so hey, I'm happy to have it now.
Oh, it's beautiful. And the Panda dial, or reverse Panda dial, just great looking. And so, I know we still got one more piece, but what watch do you find yourself wearing the most?
So I would say from an everyday wear piece, it probably is the Cartier Santos, and then the one we haven't talked about, which is the sub, the Rolex sub.
It's the Rolex sub. Okay.
Yes.
Well, great transition. Let's go there. So, a watch that right now easily is going for 2x or 3x.
Absolutely.
It's retail value. This is the latest addition to the collection.
Absolutely.
So obviously a lot of our viewers are kind of wondering, how in the heck did you get it?
Sure,
Right?
sure.
I myself am on a wait list with
Sure.
multiple ADs to get my Rolex. So tell us a little bit about how you went about getting it and what pulled you to this piece.
So yeah, I had the Datejust and had always wanted a sub. Have always loved the piece, and so got rid of the Datejust to get the sub, and so got it gray market. But I mean, this is an absolute grail watch. I've wanted it for as long as I've wanted a watch or even known what a watch or a timepiece was, and so. Latest edition, definitely hurt to give up the Datejust, but to me it's a grail watch. Probably wear that the most out of any watch.
Any watch? Yeah.
Here for sure.
Definitely recognizable.
Absolutely.
Again, just a cult classic, if you will. Cool. Another question for you is, so were these watches that you collected just kind of as a part of your journey of understanding watches, learning about watches? Is there any specific memory or special memory, or are any of these accolade-based type watches, or just kind of a part of the journey?
The Rolex definitely attributed. How I usually buy watches now is more a professional milestone, if you will. And when I reach that, then I'll treat myself and get something that I want. And so that is usually how I foresee myself acquiring those pieces in the future. I would say anything over a Rolex sub in price will probably be a milestone. Anything less, I'll probably trade a little bit and move in and move out.
So right now with this collection here, is there anything that is potentially on the market of being traded, or do you think right now at least this collection that's in front of us is here to stay?
I would say everything here is probably here to stay. Yeah, everything here is probably here to stay. The only thing I would say the Rolex, I'll probably add within the next year fairly quickly and may trade a watch.
Okay.
Maybe the Zenith El Primero, which I've had my eye on for a while.
Awesome.
So,
That's a great watch.
yeah.
That's a great watch. Okay. So let me ask you this. You've got a number of different pieces. You've got sport,
Yeah.
you've got dress, you've got casual, you've got grail pieces, you've got timeless pieces. Where do you go next, or is the collection done?
It's definitely not done. It
Okay.
is done for now, but the Rolex Daytona, which obviously can't get,
Right.
you know, from an AB, but the gray market probably will be a path I'll have to go down. That's something that is on my list. Something that a couple pieces that I hope to acquire in the near future, but definitely is something I hope to acquire in the lifetime for sure.